welcome to the Ruth Loves to Knit podcast. I'm Ruth and I love to knit. You're very welcome here today. It is the 19th, Monday the 19th of June 2023, and I'm coming to you as always from the southwest of England in Devon, where I live with my husband and our two children. If you are a usual regular viewer, you'll see that my situation has changed from where I normally podcast, probably the most boring podcast background in the whole entire world. But if you watched my last ramble, you'll know I decided to do a bit of decorating and I haven't got very far. So my craft room is a complete shambles. So we're down here in the corner of my living room beside the window in the hope that we can get good light and we can have a bit of a chat. My husband is in the kitchen, which is just behind you, and yeah, a bit self-conscious of that, but he promises me he'll be quiet. The dog is also around, so she might make an appearance. I did have the door open, but we have a fish pond just outside our back door, and it runs water all the time, and that was all you could hear. So it's not ideal, but we'll make the most of it. This has never been and never will be a professional setup, as you all know if you've watched me before. Anyway, where can you find me? I'm Ruth Loves to Knit podcast on Instagram. I'm Ruth Loves to Knit on Ravelry, and you can get me by email on ruthlovestoKnit@gmail.com. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yes. Or you can message me under this video as well, obviously. I am already starting to go red in the face because, as I say, I had to close the doors and the windows. We, as true British podcasters style, we have to always inform you about the weather, and we have had scorchio weather here in Devon. We have had no rain for, I'm sure it's about a month now. It's been temperatures well up into the early 30s some days, and today started off really cool, but the sun is out brightly again, and you can see I'm starting to go. I am at that age where I have my own personal summers all year round, but it is definitely hot today here in Devon. So anyway, you're very, very welcome. If you haven't joined me before, you're so welcome here. And if you've been here before, you know what to expect. I'm going to do a disclaimer right at the top of this podcast. This is going to be a long one. I hadn't realised how long it was since I had podcast. And there's just a lot to go through. We'll see how we go. We might split it into two, or look, just press stop and YouTube will bring you back to where you left off, and you can spend 2 weeks watching it if you want to. You can see my dog out the corner of my eye here. And it's just going to be a long one because there's lots to say. I've been on my travels. I've been to a yarn show, and yeah, I just want to share with you all my finishes, the usual stuff, the whips, all the rest of it. I did want to say that I apologise as well for the car crash. That was my last podcast. It was just a chatty one. It wasn't a proper podcast. That's my get out clause. What could go wrong did go wrong. I said the wrong words. I said the wrong things, and you were all very gracious and still watched. So I hope I'll correct some of those things today, but you know me, I'll probably say other things that are wrong too. But there you go. In the last wee chat, I asked, after hearing Casey of Young Folks Knits audio podcast, and she and her friend were talking about if they were a knitted item, what would they be? Well, you really had a lot of fun with that question. I asked it in the last time I was with you, and so many people left messages down below in the comments. Now, some ladies are very hard on themselves. I think we'll have to look at that, but others just enjoyed it, and there was lots of colourful things mentioned. There was lots of shawls and keeping cozy things mentioned, lots of things for grandchildren. So if you want a nice wee read over a cup of coffee, go and read the comments from the last podcast, and really thank you so much for doing that time. And I thought while we were on that, just for a bit of fun, you know the way, well, over here in the UK anyway, they talk about what 3 words. So if you get lost, you have 3 words that can describe where you are. And I was thinking, what 3 words would you describe yourself as? Maybe it's too personal. But what 3 words would you say if someone asked you to pick 3 words? And I picked 3 words that weren't awfully complimentary when I first thought about it, but I haven't thought about it properly, and I thought that would be a fun one for this time. If you want to leave me a wee comment, what 3 words? And be nice, be good to yourself. You know, don't ever say something to yourself that you wouldn't say to somebody else. And sometimes we're hard on ourselves, and we would never say it to a friend. So be nice to yourself, and what 3 words? So that's this one, just for a bit of fun. Just looking at my notes because yes, I learned last time too, if I don't have notes, it's a car crash. So we've got notes this time. Since I last talked to you, I have been to Ireland to see my mum and dad for my dad's 83rd birthday. And I've also been to the John Arbon Mill weekend just this past Friday. But I'm going to keep that chat till later on in the podcast, because I know not everybody is here for that sort of thing. A couple of other wee admin-y things are we're still running, or I say we, it's just me. I'm still running the You Feel Free in 23 hashtag on Instagram. This heat has mangled my head. So it's the letter U, Feel Free in 23. And if you've done anything that you've wanted to knit, crochet, whatever, and you want to put a wee picture in that hashtag, you go ahead. I've already picked one winner a few weeks ago, and I will be picking another one very soon to win a pattern, so it might be worth your while. There's stacks of things in there that you'll get good inspiration from. If you want to have a wee look, go ahead, and I say I will in the next few weeks be picking a winner, pattern prize winner from that. All the details, hopefully most of the details of what I talk about today will be down below in the description box, and obviously anything you're not sure about, just ask. Now the biggest faux pas, and I had to put the ghostly voice in over it last time, was that I have decided to do a make along, and I called it the wrong name. How good am I? The real name is the Dust Em Off Mal. And I'll put the title on the screen. And my lovely daughter has done a cartoon, meme, I don't know. And I'll put that here. It's for any craft that you can have a pattern for. And it's for any pattern that you bought before the 1st of July in a book, on Ravelry, on somebody's website, in a knitting shop, anything. As long as you have it before the 1st of July, you can use it. No whips, come on, let's get stuck in. And anything that you just want to dust off, you've been looking at it. If normally behind me in my craft room I have a big row of books, and I want to dip into those and get some of those pulled out, and it's the Dust 'em Off, as in duster, not brush 'em off, Dust 'em Off mal, and it's for any craft as long as there's a pattern for it. That's the really strict criteria, not. And I say it's from the 1st of July to the 30th of September. It's kind of in place of the shawl cowl that we normally do, just for a change. There'll be prizes. Lovely Shannon from Blue Fern Yarns has already sent a gorgeous sock set, but I can't show it just yet because it's her latest sock set, and some people might not already have it. That will be shown. Lovely Esther from Soul Yarn Alicious, one of my favorite bag makers, has offered a prize. I have some prizes, and there's other bits and pieces, so it'll be well worth your while. Now I'm only doing it on Instagram this time, just because the summer's a busy time for me, with the kids home, and we tend to travel back to Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland and all the rest of it, and I just do not like the format of Ravelry. I lose myself in it. I can't follow it. Probably just my problem. But I decided just to do this on Instagram. But if you want to take part and you're not on Instagram, just send me an email with an attached photograph. I can't see your photographs if you have a private account either. So it may cut down on some of people who can enter, but I think the vast majority of my viewers are on Instagram. And as I say, if you're not, just send me an email with an attachment and I'll pop you in there, no problem at all. It's just meant to be fun. It's just meant to be easy going, just to get us to pull out those books and get knitting some of the things, or crocheting or sewing or whatever you desire. Mine's going blank now for that. And talking about my mind going blank, I will get started soon, I promise. I did tell you it was going to be a long one. My mind, I answered some questions in my last podcast, and one of them was what podcast did I watch, and I wish I'd never even thought of it, bringing it up, because my mind went blank and I could remember nobody, and I watch so many podcasts, and I hope I didn't offend anybody. Lots of people give me podcast recommendations of people I already watch, so I'm not going to fall down that rabbit hole again. I apologise to anybody I missed out. I just sort of mentioned the ones that I'd watched recently, but I'm an avid podcast watcher, and I don't want to offend anybody by having not mentioned them, so I've learnt my lesson from that, to have a list and stick to it. So that's the hashtags of You Feel Free in 23 and Dust 'em Off Dust 'em Off Mal. It would have been the proper English, only somebody had already taken it. So that's why it's EM for them. And I hope you enjoy Eva's wee cartoon. She worked hard on it last weekend. I'm looking down at this. Have I said everything? Yes, I think so. And it's only 11 minutes in. As I say, get a cup of tea. I just have water today in my new mug. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Can you see this? It says, I'm terribly posh. I'm from Northern Ireland. I got that when I was over seeing my mum and dad. And there'll be more about, obviously, that trip in a wee while. So, FOs, we're here for the knitting, aren't we? Oh, it's warm. Well, the first one I haven't got with me, so I'll stick a wee picture up here, and it's the Lucky Dip socks that I'm doing for Cara all through this year. See where I put the leftovers from that. Oh, this is going to rustle. I do apologise. I used Addict Spin Dye, right at the bottom, of course. It was I have 50 gram sock sets, and I've put them in a bag, and I'm just picking them out, and we'll pick another one out in a wee minute. And this is, I'm all confused which side to put this on. Addict Spin Dye, and it is Urban Steel. Oh. And it was just a 50 gram, so I added a wee orange to it. I don't think I'll bother pulling it right out. Well, there's the let's see that. There you go. That's the main one, and then I just added a wee orange sock set, or a wee orange 20 gram to it. So that's that was June, so I got that done very quickly because I knitted it the whole time I was in Ireland. I came back with finished socks, and I didn't think I would knit as much, but with Eve, my daughter was with me this time, and I think she slowed my parents down a wee bit. And so that's my first, and I gave those to Cara because it was far too long for her to wait. Then my next two you've seen a few times, but thankfully I've finished them. And it's my 4th and 5th Slip Crazy Shawl. You know, I give away some of lovely Darcy's Chit Chat knits patterns there a couple of weeks ago to some lovely winners, and I just love this pattern, although I do think I may have reached the end of the road after 5. I love the fact that you can put anything together, variegated, striped, anything, things you don't think will match, things you think, what on earth would I use those together? And I did a whole big stash clear out. It was amazing. And the first one I'm going to show you, I used these. Make sure I've got all the right colours. These are the colours I used. Why can't I work out the side to put these on today? So wouldn't normally put them together, and this was the next other colour. Would never normally put them together, but they made. So maybe I should explain. I've already done this before, but we'll just go through them very, very quickly. So the really bright one, I normally have the camera the other side, I think is my problem. Really bright one is Somerset Yarns, and it's the colourway After the Storm. So that's the first one. And then this beauty was given to me, and it is by Lollipop Guild Yarn. It's very small. You'll see that. Hope that's not. And it's Peacock Shock. Hope that's not blurred. I think it is, you know. That's it now. And I would never put those together. And then this was just a wee coop knits that I had in my stash. And the beauty that came out was this. Look. My yellow top is maybe out blowing things out. It's not good. I think it came up beautifully. But I have a secret to tell you. 1 minute. Sorry about that. We're back. So anyway, this is the gorgeous shawl, the slip Crazy Shawl. You can see the beautiful slip stitches, and then the wee sort of grey break in between. And the secret is, this is number 4. No, I think I finished. This is number 4. This is number 5. Sneak peek there. And I was trying on Hannah's Happy Space, my lovely friend. We were at Knit Group, and she had one of these done, and I tried it on. I thought, gosh, that's much bigger than mine. And I remember saying on the podcast I might go up a size of needles, but that didn't work. And I just realised I'd missed out a whole part of the pattern. It's only a 1-page pattern. I had done 5 of these segments instead of 6. So I'd left out this whole segment on 3 of my slip Crazy Shawls. Honestly. Sometimes I even worry about myself. Absolutely love it. This is just, it has been the best old pattern to knit. I've just loved it. I really have. So that's that one. And the next one you saw a wee glimpse of it is this one. Totally different. Not obviously as obvious. You can still see the slips, but not just as obvious with the slips. And again, funny enough, it's bigger because I did the right pattern. And it is so soft and just perfect. It'll be great under a coat or something in the colder weather. And for this one, I used this combination. This one is a Attic Spin Dye again, and the name is Peach Sorbet Sprinkle. This one was, I think, came in a swap package, so I don't have the band for it. And then this was just a wee Cascade Heritage fingering 4-ply. So that's those. I think I have well and truly got over my addiction. I think 5 is enough. Highly recommend it. As I say, some people won the Cowl and the shawl pattern. I don't know, a couple of podcasts ago. And if you check out Chit Chat Knits, I'll put all the details down below. She has just put out, I think, 4 new cowl and shawl patterns, and she did them free in the first 2 days. And of course, I nabbed them all. Go and have a check out. They're so easy to knit. You can use so many different combinations of yarn, and Darcy's been so kind to the podcast, and yeah, just go and support. I love supporting smaller designers. Oh, the other thing was, you're going to be shooting me, Darcy. On my first 3, I just bound off. But this time I did the recommended bind off, which is just gorgeous. It's a knotted bind off. And I didn't even need to look at a tutorial. It was so, maybe I wonder, would you be able to see it better in the other one? That's glaring a wee bit in this light. Darcy's instructions are so good. I think it's a beautiful finish. So I wish I'd done them all. There you go. But hey, I know better, and I think no. Follow the pattern, Ruth, follow the pattern. So that's my confessions for that. Sorry, Darcy. Anyway, and the last thing that I hope is my addiction is also the Mindfulness Shawl by Made with Loops. I think this is my last one. I have done probably about 16 of these now. This is a gift. This was given to me, this yarn was given to me by Karen of Stitches and Jacks a long time ago. You can see that beautiful, it's dulled down a wee bit, so maybe be able to see things better. And this is a Ted Knits skein. It's one skein, and the colourway is Wisteria Sock Set. And this was the mini that came with it, but I didn't use it. Matches my watch nicely. And thank you, Karen. It took me a long time to knit it, but as I say, I'm going to give it to someone who just loves these colours together. So that's the 2 addictions hopefully broken. Hopefully. Then I think last time I did have this next FO on the needles, and it's the Poise Sweater. This is the pattern picture she sent us. It's still in testing. I think the test doesn't finish to the end of July, so will probably not be out to September or that. And it's by Herb Garden Knitwear. Hannah of Herb Garden Knitwear. Again, I'll put all the details down below. And I think I had the yoke done last time maybe, but this weather has been a killer for this. When I've been knitting on this, I've had a neck fan and a stand fan on, and it was still too warm. So this was a labour of love, although an easy pattern to follow, well set out, so size inclusive. I think there's like 16 sizes in it, and I was only like size 12. I put it on for the FO photographs on Saturday and got my daughter to take pictures and go, take them quick. I had to get it off again. It was so hot. She does recommend, I think, that you use a string of fingering and mohair, but I didn't do that. I did DK. And this is what I have. I absolutely love it. And I get it so that it's, yeah, that's it. It's really dark denim. Lovely long sleeves. I will be very honest, I didn't stick to the pattern for the sleeves. She does decreases like most sleeves, like not, you know, but I find with my muscly arm, I need to have wide sleeves, and then I generally bring them down to a dramatic halt at the bottom there, and then lovely bind off. If you want to see some very hot looking photographs of me, not hot in the temperature sense, they're on my Instagram. But this is the Poise Sweater. Oh, I always put a wee thing at the back so I know the back from the front, but it's not being very professional looking there as it looks standing up. I just think it's lovely. And I used Warth Mill, which is from Woolyknit. There's going to be a lot more Woolyknit mentioned in this podcast. It's going to be so long. And it's the Warth Mill, and from the Woolyknit website, I think I got it from. And it's in denim. The dark one is denim, and this one is cinnamon. So it's absolute, and for my size, I used 120 meters of the main color and like 20 grams or something of the contrast color. So I think it's just beautiful. Do I get a thumbnail? Very strange background, but anyway. So that is the, what was that, fourth one? No, fifth one. Sounds good, but it is quite a while. And then with this good weather, like the beginning of when it started, I decided to wash all my woolly wools and get them all dried. But I didn't have enough blocking mats. I didn't have the wet. There was still a bit of a breeze. They kept blowing up, and I suddenly remembered that we have an old trampoline. When we moved here to England 4 years ago, it is now. In fact, today, 4 years ago today, the kids bought themselves a trampoline with money people had given them and stuff. And my son's nearly 6 foot now, so they're not bouncing around on the trampoline so much. And it's at the side of the house, and I think they sort of forget about it a wee bit. But I had a great idea that I would use the trampoline as a big blocking mat. It's a massive trampoline. But only about a week ago, I realised that my blocking pins, you know, the combs, the pins with the plastic across the top, fitted through the mesh of the blocking mats. So I had a real blocking mat, massive blocking mat. And so I was able to do everything on it. I gave it a good clean, and I was able to put everything on it. So I have washed all my woolens, put them away, and all of these were blocked out on my trampoline. And just this morning, in fact, there's maybe a wee tinge, maybe it's dry now. I lifted my last FO, which finished last night, off my blocking mats. So if you've got a trampoline that the kids aren't playing anymore and you've got nice weather, sure, go ahead and use it. Get rid of some of these things so I can tell you more about them. I don't have, I'm off my usual thing. And the last thing I cast on, I put out a wee plea on Instagram a few weeks ago, because my sock mojo is waning direly, and I wanted something I could just shove in my handbag, one skein project, and loads of people give me really good ideas. Musselburgh hat being the main one, and I do not know, I think I'm broken, but I have never been able to get good tension on a Musselburgh hat. I ended up casting on we snood that you've seen me knit before. I haven't brought it in, it's in my handbag. It's just round and round and round. I added a few extra, it's 100 stitch snood by No Frills Knitting. It's just her own thing. And I added a few more stitches because I don't have a delicate neck and I just needed it a wee bit looser. So that's what I was just knitting on when I'm out and about. But it's nothing to see. So, but one of the people who got in touch was Jo of the Twinset and Purl twins, and she mentioned one of her cowls, and as if by magic, and I had already printed it out, but it's not one I think I could just sit and knit while talking to people. I would need to, it's not hard to follow, but I'm so easily distracted. And it's this one here. It's the Crest Bandana Cowl by Joanna Herriot, who is Jo of Rachel and Jo of Twinset and Purl. And it's a one skein, it's a free pattern, need to say that. And it's a one skein project, and I thoroughly enjoyed knitting it. Now, the yarn I picked, maybe it's a bit fussy for what, but I think it is gorgeous. And this is what I ended up with. You can see the lovely scallops. Look at that. I think it's come out nice. Now, I could have blocked it bigger, and I might, but I just wanted to get it blocked and done so I could show you it. Because I think I might like to wear it kind of like that. Very distracting being so close to the road. And ooh, you can see, look at those scallops. Aren't they gorgeous? You know, it's a beautiful pattern. Set that down a bit, obviously. I'm on my rocking chair, so that could have gone very wrong. But obviously, if you want to wear it under a jacket or whatever, just... It is gorgeous and so easy to follow. It's written and charted. As I say, it's free. And this gorgeous yarn, that's all I have left. Tiny wee nub, see in my hand. And it's from Dye and Knit by Kate. And it's called Under the Sea, and it's just superwash merino nylon. And it's got 425 meters. I think you would have been, if you have 400 meters skein, I think you would have used it all. And I did my first ever, I think it's my first ever Icelandic bind off for this. And I think it's just lovely. It just almost continues the garter. But if you want a wee, it's not quite a palette cleanser, but it's certainly nice quick knit, round and round and round. Starts out flat and then goes round. Couldn't ask for better. You can't see it well because, and it's got these lovely details, like down the sides and then down the front and then down the back. It's my tail. This is not the best light to be showing these things in. So you can see where it was joined in the round there. So that is what did I say it was called? The Crest Bandana Cowl, and I just love it. I definitely think I would do another one of those. Look at the scallops. I might do it in a plainer, kind of more, just a very lightly variegated, but I just thought I would get loads of wear out of that. And yeah, as a free pattern, go, run. I think they were doing a Cowl at one point for this. I can't remember, but yeah, it's beautiful. Well done, Jo. So that's them all. That's all. Grief, that was a long session. That's all the FOs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But as I say, some of those were well underway. Most of them were well started. Crest Bandana Cowl was about the only thing that I hadn't already got on the needles from last time, and I haven't seen you in nearly a month. So, right, very quickly, whips. Don't know where to begin. Well, if you've watched this podcast before, you'll know I mentioned from time to time lovely Anniina of the Anniina Knits. I hope I got that one right. Podcast. She is a designer, a podcaster, and all-round lovely person from Finland. And she I was watching her podcast, and for the last few podcasts she's been showing this beautiful shawl. She's knitting it in linen quill, and I said to her, if you wanted to test her, that would be right up my street. And she said, oh yes please, that'd be lovely. And I have to work out which bag this is in now. That's not well thought out, is it? At all. Whoops. I think it's this one. And it's only in a big bag because of the size of the skein I'm using. So I don't have a picture of this, but you'll see what it's like. If you want to see it in its full glory, go and see her podcast, because she has shown it quite a few times. It's called the Coastland Shawl. And oh, I'm halfway through a row. That's very unlike me. I am using this. It is coming up blue, it's green, it's sea foam colour. And the sharp among you will see this again in a moment. She says that she hasn't actually finished the whole pattern yet, so there's still a wee bit to come, but she had enough of the repeats for us to get going. And she said it would probably take about 300 grams. So I just thought I would use what's in my stash and go with that. And it's perfect, and it's turning out lovely. Only a minute. So I'll show you the pattern. It's obviously a shawl, so it's long, but this is the gorgeous shell pattern. You see that? Oh, isn't that beautiful? And obviously that's going to block a bit too. And then on the other side, it's got, so this is the right side. It's tapering off all the time with this lovely slip stitch. Note to self, this is not a good place to podcast. See the slip stitch. And I'm loving it. It's a woolly wool, so it's not ideal for hot weather, but it's light as a feather, it really is. And with my wee cupcake needle ends gifted to me. And I'm just going to work away on this. It will not be a quick knit, it's garter. And then it goes into at the end, just goes into this at one end. So that's the Coastland Shawl. You can look out for that. Sorry, Anniina, I didn't do that justice because I'm in the middle of a row. Don't know why, but anyway. That'll be something that when I wash it up, it'll get even softer, and it'll just be perfect for the winter. Knitting all these things. I should be knitting cotton tops and all these things, and I have no desire to knit any of them. I have them all. I have cotton yarn, all the rest of it, and all I want to knit is shawls. So that's me. So that's the Coastland Shawl, and that'll be just a work in progress for quite a while. I think it's almost to the point. I think it's an 8 row repeat. It's almost to the point I can remember the repeats. So it is getting to be nice TV knitting. It's just in one of my So Yarnlicious bags. Then the next one is, if you remember back talking about Purl Soho yarn, I had the Purl Soho yarn and I had cast on a Smilga. Is that the one? Smilga? No, eeny meeny. This one here. And I sort of already knew myself I'd cast it on with the wrong yarn, but I did give you the chance to tell me that. And I ripped it out and actually sold the yarn that I'd only knit a wee tiny bit with it, and somebody said they would buy the yarn off me. So I've recast it on, and the Smilga, see if I can get a decent, it's by Inez Sang. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? You see that? And I just really want to do it. So I've recast on with this yarn. And if you remember from last time, I think, I had done a t-shirt in that, the Storm Seeker t-shirt. Oh dear me, which better? Yes, it's all matching my curtains. The Storm Seeker t-shirt by Roro and Cades. And I had done it from a cone, so I had enough left over, and that's what I've decided to do the Smilga in. And I'm only going to do the wee dots that you saw. I'm just going to do one colour, and I think it might be yellow, but we'll see. So there's plenty of that, and this is what I've done so far. I haven't done an awful lot. I've just been pegging away on it. And I think you'll agree, or will you agree? Can you even see it? There you go. That this definitely shows up the pattern a lot better. I don't know what way to do it today. There you go. The lovely twisted stitches, the wee bit of cable there. You can even see it there. And as I say, I mean, it's only got started. But that's a Smilga by Inez Sang. There you go. And that's in, I think my very first Sew Yarnalicious bag, because she's changed her tags. That was very summery, isn't it? She's changed her tags from them. So that's a OG bag. The next thing then is, I haven't done anything on it. I just wanted to show you that the Coastland shawl and my husband's So Basic sweater is the same yarn. I somehow have a load of this yarn in my stash. I think one of my lovely viewers sent me some, and I already had some. Just see if I can get you. If you remember, I cast on a sweater for my husband. Wish I hadn't, but anyway, it's on the naughty pile. Just he's the naughty one, not the sweater. He doesn't know if he's so keen on the colour now. But I'm going to keep knitting on it anyway, and actually I'm at the point where I just knit round and round and round, and I might just, for mindless knitting, it'll be perfect. But it's a wee bit of ridge, garter ridge on the sleeve, and it's the So Basic sweater by Maxim Sear. So that is still on the needles, folks, with the same colour yarn as I'm doing the shawl, and I'm doing a shawl, and he can have a jumper, so we won't look like Darby and Joan in the same jumpers. But I doubt if he'll ever wear it at the same time as I'm wearing my beautiful shawl. That's probably going to be pulled out and in a few times before you'll probably not see it again until it's a finished thing, because I'm kind of have no heart for it. But it's in my lovely soft accents bag with my wee knitting nutter keyring that my daughter made me for Christmas. But yes, I have a lot of that yarn and I'm using it up. So there you go. We're nearly there. And the last two things that you will be all super, super shocked about. I mean, I'm not being sarcastic. Are you sitting down? I'm going to put a photograph up. Don't know which side, this side. And this is the Cecil shawl. That's hard to say. The Cecil shawl by, again, Jo of Twinset and Purl. I think it's named after her dad, and it just came out there, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago, and I had to buy it. They always give a massive discount anyway. And incidentally, on their patterns this week, from 19th for a week, is buy one, get one free for the cancer charity that Rachel and Jo support. Rachel has been very poorly and is getting a lot of care from that charity, I presume. It's not my story to tell. You can watch it on the podcast. But they're doing a thing, the buy one, get one free on all their non-charity patterns. Never met two girls to give more money to charity. It's amazing. And then I think on Saturday, they're bringing out a cowl and a pair of socks that all the money's going to that charity. It's a cancer charity anyway. And yes, it's obviously very close to their heart, and what a way to give, and you get a wee amazing patterns too. So go and look that up. It's all this week. Yes, so don't faint. I hope you're all sitting down. If you're not, maybe even lie down, get yourself a cold drink. Because I've done something that I said I would never do. So the Cecil shawl, you've seen the beauty. Oh, they should go on to Ravelry and see. Some people have made such beautiful ones. Well, I decided I wanted to do it. So I picked my main colour, another woolly knit cone that someone gave me as well. And it's a merino wool cone, so it's super, super soft. And I won't need that much out of it, so I can still do a garment out of it. So that's my main colour. I'm getting redder and redder. I'm so warm. Then, I've warned you, sit down. Yes, you're not mistaken. This is fluff. Fluff. I said I would never knit with it. I said I didn't like the touch of it, and I'm still not awfully keen on the touch of it, but oh my goodness, it is gorgeous, the feel whenever it's done. I ordered this from Wool Warehouse. It came very quickly, and there may be another option, but I made the big mistake of casting it on in the heat with a fan. It doesn't work. And I have had to put, and I chose the wrong colour. There wasn't a big enough contrast. So I had to pull back several times. So this is all that I have got in the end. This tiny little bit and nothing to show, and it won't be pulled again until this heat wave goes away, because I had the fan on and it was blowing, and then I was dropping it and it was just a disaster. But I've started, look, I've started. Miracles do happen. Never say never. It's not giving me the heebie-jeebies that I thought it would. It is Kid Silk, Drops Kid Silk in Super Kid Mohair and Silk. And this colour is colour 30. It's like, oh, no, it's not coming up. Was that, yeah, I suppose that is it. This colour is colour 17. And then the one that I've already cast on with is colour 22, just like a dark grey. But as I say, I do maybe have another option if I do get to do this. As always, the pattern's set out brilliant, that's charted. For this, the colour work is charted because it has to be. And watch this space. So my husband's jumper on this one maybe won't see for a wee while again, because until this heat goes away. But this was in, I showed this last week, in the sunniest, most gorgeous bag by Soft Accents. Right, and last whip. Oh, is not a whip. I don't know why I'm saying that. It is my Lucky Dip socks. By the time I see you again, it'll already be into July. Can you even believe it? And my bag out again with my little bag that I carry the bits and pieces around in. And I did, as I say, I did my June ones within a few days of June, even maybe already had them finished in May. I did already have them finished in May because I took them with me to Ireland and we were home before. It's my daughter's birthday's on the 2nd of June and we were home by then. So I'm not looking in, and I'm going to choose out my sock set. Let's go rumble right down. We'll go right down to the bottom. Oh, lovely. Wee bag of lavender. Woolly Goodness yarns. I haven't used them for a wee while, but I do not know how she gets her yarn so soft. I mean, it is, you can see, look, it is so soft and yet so hard wearing. This is 70% superwash merino, 25% nylon and 5% silver stellina. You can see it a wee bit there, can't you? And the name is Rainbows and Storm Clouds Sock Set. So, Cara, that's your latest one. Get those cast on. And as I say, I would love a whole sweater in this stuff. It is just amazing. So I'll put that away for another month. And I'll pop that in, need to get that wound up. But if you saw the mess of my craft room, I will not be getting wound up on a Swift. I'll be getting wound up by hand. And that's them ready for the next time. So that's all the whips and all those things. And really, that's the end of the knitting. You'll be very glad to know. The rest is going to be about my travels, about acquisitions. And then, of course, at the end, I always share a wee bit about the gospel because I am a Christian and I just love to share the good news of the gospel. As I say, press stop, press pause, come back later. I was going to do it in 2 parts. I just think I'm just going to go for it. Still an hour before the kids come home from school. I normally do this first thing in the morning, and my plans for tomorrow have changed, so I'm doing it now. So if you're leaving me now, if this isn't sort of stuff you want to say, thank you so much. Give me a wee thumbs up if you like this absolute nonsense. And if you're staying, there's still quite a wee bit to go. So brace yourself. Okay, well, as I said, I was in Ireland with my daughter Eva for my dad's 83rd birthday. We went over, what was the 27th of May, I think. Eva was off for half term, and her birthday was at the end of that week too, so we kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone, and we had a great time. We just happened to be able to see lots of relatives in one fell swoop. We went to a service that my dad was preaching at. He was a minister all his life, all his working life, and still preaches at 83. And my 2 aunts were there, my cousins were there, friends I hadn't seen in a long time were there, so we got lots of hugs, and my poor mum managed to pick up COVID from it, so, and then, which is fine now, and then we had a lovely meal with my brother and my dad and my future sister-in-law. on the Monday, and then on the Tuesday was our last day. We were only there for 4 days, and I had said that we were going to go to a shop called Glenn's Galleries in just the next town to where my parents live, which is a absolute rabbit warren of crafts. But since COVID, they have clamped down, and they only do it by make an appointment, and you have to tell them what you want and they bring it out to you. And that wouldn't suit me at all. I need a good rummage through. I need to see what I'm buying. Put this back a wee bit so we get a bit more light. And so we decided not to go. We thought we'll go on to a wee place called Portrush first, sorry, should I say. I put some lovely footage. The weather was stunning of, if I can upload it, I'll maybe put a wee bit here, can't promise, of White Park Bay, just down from the restaurant we ate in for lunch. And then Mum said, there's a wee wool shop in Port Stewart, which is the next wee seaside town down. And it's literally just one street, lots of ice cream shops, seats to sit on, great place to sit and sun yourself. And I kind of thought, right, Mummy, whatever. And we arrived at this shop. I hope I can put that up. And it says, as you can see, Mullins Fashions. And I thought my mum was definitely lost at this time. She's definitely lost it. But the fashions were upright, and down in the bottom was every pack of wool you could imagine. All commercial wool, which is great. And she had made up packs to go with everything, crochet, knitting, everything. And we went in, and I'll just say, maybe it's my biased opinion, but it's for a more mature woman, maybe the fashions. It's the tiniest shop, and they have fitted stuff into every corner, and she knows where everything is. So while my mum managed to get a skirt and a blouse and a top, Eva and I went down to the bottom of the shop, and I'll put a picture of the lady and the lady who was helping her on here, and you can see a bit of the yarn. It was falling off the shelves. There was that much of it. And we had a good old rummage round, and as you know, Eva loves to crochet now, so she got herself some. And I was looking around, and I'd seen a pack in the window, and I was looking at that, and then I was at Stylecraft, GMC Brett, and I think every single type that they do, like from mohair right up. And my mum had appeared with this at some point. It's a crocheted lap blanket, maybe better on there, that she thought Eva, my daughter, could do. But I thought, could I do that? Now, if you've watched this podcast before, you know I don't crochet. But I don't know about you, but if I'm in a sports shop or in Hobbycraft, which is like just a craft, big craft shop here in the UK, I suddenly believe that I can do all the crafts and I can do all the sports. I think that's what happened to me when I went into that yarn shop. I decided, because I stood there for 5 minutes, that I could in fact crochet. So I didn't, well, these weren't my colours, as most of you would know. So I saw a pack in the front which was for something else, but the girl said, no problem, I'll bring it out for you. And this is what I ended up with. Sorry for the crinkling. This is how I bought it. In a Tesco's bag. She had them all in Tesco's bags and different things. And this is the colour scheme. There's one more white ball. It's Stylecraft. My dog is scrapping at the door. Stylecraft DK. And she took it up to the counter, and I said, so just let me keep going here. I want to see a few other things, because there was such a good selection of stuff, and Eva hadn't decided on hers yet. So she took that up to the counter, and I never thought anything of it. And that was fine. And then I saw something else, and it was this. It is double knitting by, who's it by? You're all shouting at me, aren't you? GMC Brett. And it's so soft. I think there's actually maybe some wool in it. Can't remember. Yes, 20% wool, 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and 550 meters. But she only had one of them, and I just loved it. And with my aversion at that point, I'm a convert maybe, to mohair, I just thought this was perfect. And I saw a lace weight shawl, crocheted shawl, on the samples hanging up. I can't knit with double knit. I can't crochet with double knit, never mind lace. So I put that up. Then I put this one up. That's SH10. This is SH5. Look at those lovely colours. Then I got this one. Now these were like $3.99. They weren't really loaded. This is SH06. Just thought they'd be so good to put in as the extra, you know, instead of mohair. And then the last one she'd done a promotion that weekend, and she was out of lots of the colours, and this is the last one I got. And the lady was merrily taking these down to the till, and I just thought I'll go and pay. And my naughty mummy paid for them. So my mum bought me them. She bought me all that gorgeous wool, and I thank you very much. But I will be honest, I am not going to crochet this, mummy. It's too hard for me. I am going to use these, and I'll put the picture up of what I think I'm going to do. It's a Camarose, the beginner blanket. It's like waves, and I think it's much more up my street, and it takes exactly the amount of yarn that I have. So this might get done sometime, but not the way my menopausal brain works at the minute. I don't think so, but you never know. But anyway, and Eva's still crocheting away on her granny square. She made her friend a frog with the wool that she got. And then we went and got ice cream and had a lovely day. And thankfully, and I may have bought something else that you'll see in another podcast. If I showed you all the yarn that has come into this house recently, you would be, oh, don't know. So there's another kit was bought with my money, and that'll come out, but it's for knitting. And you'll see that. But I just want to show what my mum had bought me, and I'm really, really grateful. Then we had ice cream and all the rest of it, and we had a lovely time, and then we flew home. And Eva had her birthday, and then I had ordered something, and I completely forgot that it had come. I'd brought it in off the step and put it away. I hadn't even opened it, and it's one of these. Excuse me as I dip down. Oh, I'm going to probably move it. It's one of these. This is a Knitty Noddy. I bought this partly because I wanted to say I own a Knitty Noddy. I just think it's a fun word to say. And partly because I rip out a lot of stuff. And I end up with crinkly yarn, and it sits in a bag for ages. Excuse me. It sits in a bag for ages, and I look at it and I move it and I change it, and I never do anything with it, and I was getting really fed up with it. So I had a big session the other day, and I'm going to just lift out, sorry, crinkling. Do you like my new yarn? This was, look at that, there's cashmere in that. That was Old Maiden Ant yarn I had used for a test knit, and I didn't like it when I knit it, and I've now finally re-skeined it. I washed it, I put it around the Knitty Noddy, and you put it around it, and it makes it into a skein. If you want to see, Google it. I'm not the person to show you, definitely not. And in hindsight, I maybe should have got a longer one, but that's fine. I'm not a professional. People who do spinning use them. And Knitty Noddy is just a really fun word to say. And then, so I did that, and I had them all hanging out on my line, and I felt like a yarn dyer or something. So that's that one. So I've reclaimed that one, sweaters quantity. Then this one, I've reclaimed this one. I think it works out, yeah. I think that's a sweaters quantity. I've got a wee bit of drop lavender in there too. And then this one, which is a West Yorkshire Spinners Aran weight, I think. And I've reclaimed this one. So I have 3 full sweater quantities of yarn reclaimed from old projects that I didn't want anymore, and I had ripped out, and I had some fun doing that, putting them all and pulling them all and reskinning them and everything. So that was an acquisition. And then last Friday, just weekend, myself and my lovely friend Caroline went to the John Arbon Mill weekend, and oh, it was hotter than the surface of the sun, but it was a great day. It was really, really good. Met some lovely people. 3 lovely people came up to me, 2 Carols. One Carol on her own while we were having our sneaky little lovely lunch. came over in a beautiful yellow dress with daisies on. It was the first, I was in navy and they were all in yellow. And then Sharon and her friend Carol came over, and I'd actually noticed Sharon because she had the most amazing pair of lovely pink and yellow trousers on. And they came over and we got a photograph as well. I don't have it, they took the photographs, so it was lovely. It was a bit weird. My friend thought it was hilarious that people recognised me, and we had a great time. We got it was amazing to go around the mill. Look, you know, I cannot do videoing and I cannot take photographs, and I heard on the grapevine that lovely Laura Penrose from Penrose Knits is going to do a vlog. She was there the next day, and I'm going to direct you over to her vlog. I will put her details in the show notes, and I'm going to direct you to a professional who does amazing stuff. But there was a marketplace with all the John Arbon stuff. Then downstairs there was Katie Green with her stuff, you know, her lovely stickers and stamps. And I saw the cardigan that I'd done with the toadstools on a couple of years ago now for lovely Jeanette of Crafty Clegs. She had several samples of those up there. She had tea towels and cushion covers, and then there was Telling Yarns. And then there was another company that I'd never heard of before. They're local to the South Molton area. And we had a great time. So it was so hot. It seemed ridiculous that we were looking at wool in the heat that it was. But we trundled out on the school bus trip out to the mill, and we saw the different machines being used. And I'm sure Laura will show you all of that. And we got a badge that said I've been through the mill. And then I came back. While I was there, my friend was doing a visible mending course. And then we met up again and drank about a gallon of water. And it was just lovely, even on the bus, you know, talking to people. And I have to say there was a lot of lovely husbands there with their wives, and we had a great laugh and learned a lot more about the mill and all of their practices, and we got some goodies as well. There were quite a few mill specials. I haven't brought down, I bought some knit by numbers because it was down to £12 a skein, down from like 19 or something. I didn't bring those because you will see those later, but I did treat myself. And this was like we were literally going home. And you know, my motto is to take cash so that when the cash runs out, you run out, you leave. And just talking about Katie Green, I think we got these if we made a purchase, I can't remember, very cheap. This was Katie Green bag. This is the mill. These are the machines, and these are the mill workers because they all work at dungarees. And thought that was great. I thought that would that do is it? Anyway, so that was great, really sturdy, and it's one of those backpack ones. And then inside, so it's the mill weekend, and then had the programme and all really nicely done out. Really professional, really nicely set out, so you could see everything really well. And the people who worked in the mill, you know, the ones you'd see on YouTube, I was kind of a bit starstruck. They were there to help if you wanted, and my friend, there wasn't enough of something she wanted and they got it sent down from the mill almost immediately. I mean, it was just brilliant. And then so they have a sale box where everything was £6, and I'll show you. I just got this one. Again, I'm definitely on a theme, aren't I? And this is Devonia DK, 103 grams. It just must be an offcut probably. So soft. We'll use that in a colour work or something like that. And then this one here, use those together really, couldn't I? This is a 4-ply. See and Devonia 4-ply, Bleeding Heart, Broken Flower, 100 grams, just for £6. So couldn't let those go. We actually, the first thing we did when we went in was got a cream tea because we had left early, and it's quite a drive from us. And I was facing the sale box and I was getting a bit itchy, you know, I wanted to go over and just don't nobody buy anything till I see, but I wasn't that bad. So this is what I got, and I couldn't leave it. And this is Appledore double knit. Look at the tones in that. There, oh my goodness, look at that. And this is 40% Devon close wool, 40% Romney, 20% Exmoor blue face, double knit, and it's 250. So it's a thin, kind of quite a light double knit. and I got a sweater's quantity. I was originally, still bringing hairs home, I was originally going to get just enough for a shawl, but I thought if I'm going this far, this is my big purchase. I did a big de-stash a few months ago, and I did keep some money over to rebuy yarn. What else would I do with it? And the name of this is Pig Snout. So I've got my niddy noddy and my pig snout. But I can't wait to see what I'm going to do with that, because it's just going to be gorgeous. And my friend was actually wearing a dress that it would have gone well with, but she wasn't for giving it to me. See the tones? Oh, look. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that was my big spend. And as I say, I got a few of the knit by numbers as well, just the plain colours to do bits and pieces with as well. And the other thing about going to the mill, you pass the British wool sorting, massive big warehouse, and the doors were all open because obviously it was 100 million degrees. Those poor guys in there must have been cooked, but how handy is that? Literally round the corner is where the mill is. And yeah, as I say, it was just amazing. So keep your eye open for Penrose Knitting Pickle, Penrose Knits. She's going to do a vlog and be so much better than me in every single way. And then last but no means least, there's more, and I'm not going to show you. You'll see it when it comes round. The stuff's come in, gifted. Mum bought me stuff. And my craft room is a tip because I'm supposed to be painting it and we can't agree on the paint colour, so it's just a disaster. But last but not least is lovely Nicola from Tea Cake Makes. I have a bag that I got for my birthday, and she saw me showing it, and to thank me, how kind, she gave me 3 free patterns of hers. And I didn't even know, I knew that she did bags because, you know, I think I've got 2 of them on Etsy, but didn't know that she did patterns. And these are the patterns, I've put them in a wee grid hopefully, that she gave me. And the cowl is called Winter Peaks Cowl. Then the Spring Getaway socks, so the ones with the lovely flowers obviously. And then the other ones are the heartwarming socks. And my heart was warmed because she gave me those. And I never expect anybody to give me anything, but it just blows me away every time somebody's so kind like that. So go and check her out if you have some socks you want to knit. Can't encourage you to buy new patterns after the 1st of July. So go. Yeah, so I think that's it. Oh my goodness, it's like going to be 2 hours. Just let's face it, it's just going to be 2 hours. And it's going to take me forever to upload, but hey ho. Again, if you're leaving me now, I am going to share just very quickly a little bit that the Lord's put in my heart recently. If you're going to leave me now, no bother at all. Remember the hashtag dust him off. Mal is going to start on the 1st of July, but I'll keep putting things on here and on social media. If this week calms down, my children seem to just need carded everywhere at the moment. If this week calms down a bit, I might go through some of my books and things and sort of some inspiration and have a look, but I'm not going to promise because it literally feels like one day it's just going on to the next. There's a few things with my son's school I have to do, and it's just the way of it. So if you're leaving me now, thank you so much. Give me a wee thumbs up, and if you don't subscribe, sure, doesn't cost you anything. Jump on there, and then you'll know whenever I am doing another video, so that you won't have to go looking for me. Really appreciate you spending this time with me. Keep cool if you're in the UK. I know some places have got rain. If you're freezing away in Australia, I do apologise. But until the next time I see you, all right, God bless. Thanks. Hi, as I say, if you're staying with me, I'm really glad. I had to get up and let the dog in. Just want to share something really quick with you today. You know, I'm often asked to do the kids' talk at our church, and sometimes I try and link it up with what the minister's saying, maybe the theme that he's talking on. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's great, sometimes, you know, God's love or a nice parable or something that I can really explain to the kids very simply. You know, a parable, an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. There's always lots that you can say in those situations. However, the last day that he asked me to do it, the minister was speaking on Psalm 99 and his theme was holiness. I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to teach small kids about holiness? You know, let's face it, even adults struggle with that subject and the concept sometimes. There's so many rabbit holes I could go down, and I could get lost on the subject. Holiness can be a big scary word in Christian lingo. Maybe you're about to switch off. Maybe you're just here for the knitting. Maybe you just think, I was just sitting down to have a cup of tea. I don't need any deep theological discussion here now, Ruth. No sermons, please. Well, don't worry, you're not going to get that off me. I want to just share a few thoughts with you that I was reminded of as I prepared the kids' talk that Sunday. If you've spent any time in the Bible, in a Bible-believing church at all, you will probably know that God is holy. It's hopefully talked about all the time, in fact. Holy just means pure or set apart. Obviously, the only one who is truly pure and perfect without sin is Jesus. So, he is holy. There are many areas of the Bible that theologians can debate, but all can hopefully agree that the Bible is clear about the fact that God is holy. We sing many songs about him being holy. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. Early in the morning our song shall rise to thee. Psalm 30 verse 4 says, sing praises to the Lord, O you his saints, and give him thanks to his holy name. So we can definitely get our heads around and our thoughts around God being the definition of holy. But did you know, or do you need reminded, that if we are Christians, we are called to be holy too? What? 1 Peter 1 13 to 16. So prepare your minds for action and exercise self-control. Put all your hope in the gracious salvation that will come to you when Jesus Christ is revealed to the world. So you must live as God's obedient children. Don't slip back into your old ways of living to satisfy your own desires. You didn't know any better then, but now you must be holy in everything you do, just as God who chose you is holy. For the scripture says, you must be holy because I am holy. Wow, that's a lot to expect of us. Or is it? We're not perfect, and on this world at least we'll never be perfect. The definition again of holy is pure and set apart. That really made me look at myself. Even this, how is this even possible in the world we live in my family, in my situation? Philippians 2 verse 5 says, in your lives, you must think and act like Christ Jesus. Oh boy, I don't know about you, but initially that made me feel so inadequate and a wee bit overwhelmed, if I'm honest. But how can I be pure and set apart in my life? Well, if you're a Christian, you must be different. As I said to the kids, not weird, just different. Whether we like it or not, we live in this world and have to function in this world. We can't hide away in seclusion. We have to interact with people all the time. Do those people we interact with know we're a Christian? Okay, maybe you haven't actually told them, but can they see Christ in and through your life? Can they see that there's something different about you? That difference is you have Jesus in your life. For many people, you might be the only Christian they ever meet. Imagine if they could see that there was something different about you that they really wanted to find out more about. We all know people who are Christians, but let's just say their life doesn't often reflect Christ. Don't be that person. Let his light shine through you. When I think of the Christians who have influenced me the most, they're humble folk that have just shone out Christ in their lives every day. Think about your own situation. Can you think of a time recently where you could have reacted differently or dealt with that situation differently, been more Christ-like? But Ruth, you don't know how hard my life is or how awful the people I have to deal with are. Matthew 5, 43 to 48 says, you have heard the law that says love your neighbour and hate your enemy. But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. In that way you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives his sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike. If you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even pagans do that. but you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. That is very hard hitting, isn't it? Again, these verses made me feel overwhelmed, but then I was, of course, reminded we don't do any of this alone. Deuteronomy 31 verse 6 says, "So be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not panic before them. For the Lord your God will personally go ahead of you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you." So although we have a lot asked of us, Christ absolutely upholds his side of the bargain too. We just have to call out and ask for help. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 14 says, "Strive for peace with everyone and for the holiness without which no one else will see the Lord." Imagine the difference in the world if all the Christians strive to be more Christ-like, to be more holy. Imagine instead of getting inside our heads with bitterness and anger against someone who has wronged us, that we pray for them instead. What a difference that could make in our lives and theirs. Remember, Jesus understands our struggles. In this verse in Hebrews, it says the word strive. You cannot reach perfection here on this earth, but knowing you're making the effort, the greatest effort you can, be more like Christ, like, is amazing. I'll say that again. You cannot reach perfection here on this earth, but knowing you are making the greatest effort you can to be more Christ-like is amazing. You know, I have this wee thing on my fridge. Oh, let's see it. It says WWJD. Now, if you're my age and you grew up in the church, you'll know what that stands for. It stands for, what would Jesus do? Show you it again. I used to have a bracelet with it on and all sorts. You know, if you don't know Jesus as your personal saviour, this won't mean much to you. But that's how I try each day to be more Christ-like, is before I make a decision, before I do anything, before I step out of bed in the morning, I try to think, what would Jesus do? He doesn't expect us to be perfect. He doesn't expect us to do everything totally right. But just thinking, what would Jesus do, often helps us just to do the right thing. Again, as I said, if you don't know Jesus as your personal saviour, if you have never made that decision to follow him, I hope you will. He longs to welcome you and call you his own. Maybe you still think it's too big a commitment, or it's too much for you to stand up and be different or set apart. Well, last time I talked about Elizabeth and Jim Elliot, and another quote from Jim Elliot, who died bringing the gospel to the Auca Indians in Ecuador. He said, "He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose." Don't try and hold on to the world's things. Don't try and hold on to the things of the world, because someday when you pass this life, you will have to stand before the Lord and you will have to show what you've done for him in this life. And I pray that you will have had him in your life. You will be serving him. You will have served him day by day. You will know him as your own personal saviour. If you have any doubts about that, please get in touch and I will see if I can help you on the right road to get true assurance that one day when you go to be with one day when you leave this world, that you'll go to be with him. And whenever I look at this wee thing every day, I'm just reminded every single day, what would Jesus do? And I hope that is, if you're a Christian, that is your wish too, to be more Christ-like, to be more like him, and to look to him for the help to do all those things. Well, my wee dog is now lying at my feet like a hot water bottle. Over my feet. I'm sure she has knocked the camera a few times, if you could see her here in the middle of the debris, and so I think I better stop before she barks. I just want to thank you again for being with me. This is just going to be a longest ever. Hopefully we might be back in a proper podcasting place next time when someone finally picks a colour for the walls. But until then, feel free to get in touch. Don't forget, what 3 words, let me know. And get your projects ready for the Dust 'em Off Mal. As I say, get in touch if there's any questions about any of those things. And until then, keep on knitting and look after yourself. God bless. Bye.